never thought I'd be afraid of my own house. It wasn't old, haunted, or particularly big. Just a quiet suburban place that my parents had spent 20 years building. When they left for a weekend trip, I insisted I'd be fine alone. I was 23, after all. I'd stayed alone before. That first night was uneventful, at least until the storm came. Rain began slapping the windows like wet fingertips. Thunder rumbled so low it vibrated through the floors. I muted the TV, planning to head upstairs, when I realized something. The house wasn't quiet anymore. Under the wind, under the steady rain, I heard footsteps. They were slow, deliberate, and unmistakably inside. Every step creaked through the hallway, moving closer. I whispered, "Mom." No answer. I tried to laugh it off. Maybe it was the pipes. Maybe just my imagination. But then the footsteps stopped directly outside my bedroom door. The silence after was heavier than the sound itself. Then came the faint click of the doorknob turning. My breath caught in my throat. The knob twisted just slightly, then stopped. I wanted to move, but every nerve in my body screamed to stay still. That's when I heard it. A voice, soft, trembling, like a child trying not to cry. "Please let me in. It's cold." It wasn't a shout. It was gentle, pleading. Too close to the floor, like someone kneeling on the other side of the door. I backed up, whispering, "Who's there?" The voice came again, barely above the rain. "Please, I'm freezing." Something about the tone froze me. It didn't sound like any kid I'd ever heard. The syllables felt wrong, too flat, too slow, like they were being copied from memory. The lights flickered. The voice stopped. When I finally dared to open the door, there was no one there. Only a faint puddle of water seeping across the hall floor. At first, I thought it was from the rain, but then I saw footprints, tiny, bare, and wet, leading toward the back door. I didn't sleep that night. Every gust of wind against the siding made me flinch. By morning, I'd almost convinced myself it was all in my head. Maybe a dream. Maybe I'd left the door open and the storm blew in some rain. But when I told my neighbor, Mrs. Green, her face went pale. She stared at my house, then whispered, "You didn't open the back door, did you?" I shook my head. "No, why?" She hesitated. "A boy drowned in that creek years ago, before your family moved here. That part of the land used to be his house." I tried to laugh, but my voice cracked. "You're kidding." She didn't smile. His mother swore she still heard him calling at night. Said he'd knock and ask to come in when it rained. That night, I double-checked every lock, every window. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The rain came again, heavier this time, hammering the glass. Around midnight, I heard knocking 3 slow, soft taps at the back door. I froze. It was the same rhythm as before. "Please let me in. It's cold." The voice drifted through the crack at the bottom of the door, and this time it sounded closer, like it was whispering from inside the kitchen. The lights flickered, then went out completely. I didn't move, not even when something wet brushed my bare ankle. And tiny, cold fingers slid against my skin. When the power finally returned, the floor was dry again, but the back door stood wide open, letting in the storm. I moved out the next week, and every time it rains now, I swear I hear it again. The soft voice beneath the thunder, asking me to open the door. Story 2, the babysitter's window. The miller's house always felt too quiet. It sat alone at the end of a long driveway lined with pine trees that whispered when the wind moved through them. I'd babysat there before, but that night, the night they asked me to stay until after midnight, something about it felt different. The kids had gone to bed at 9. By 10, the only sounds were the faint tick of the grandfather clock and the hum of the refrigerator. I curled up on the couch with my phone, scrolling to stay awake. Outside, the porch light flickered once, twice, then went out. That's when I noticed the reflection in the window. At first, I thought it was my own, but the angle was wrong. There was a figure behind me, tall and still, standing just at the edge of the room. I turned fast, heart pounding. No one, just the hallway stretching into darkness. I laughed nervously. "Get a grip," I whispered. The dog, an old golden retriever, lifted his head from the rug. His ears pricked up, eyes fixed on the sliding glass door. A low growl rumbled from his chest. I followed his gaze. Outside, through the rain-streaked glass, someone was standing in the yard, tall, motionless, face hidden by the dark. I could barely breathe. I reached for my phone, no signal. Of course, the house always lost service in bad weather. "Who's there?" I called. No answer. The figure didn't move, didn't even flinch when the dog barked. Just stood there, watching. I grabbed the landline on the counter and dialed 911. Nothing, just static. Then slowly, the porch light came back on, flickering weakly, and the yard was empty. The air in the living room felt heavy. I told myself it was fine, probably some neighbor cutting through the woods. Still, I locked every door and window. But when I passed the back door, I saw something that stopped me cold. Muddy handprints on the outside of the glass. 5 perfect prints, pressed low, like someone had been crouching. I kept every light on. The dog wouldn't stop packing, whining low like he smelled something I couldn't. Every few minutes, he'd look toward the basement door and growl. It was after midnight when I heard it, the soft scrape of the basement latch. I froze. Hello. No response. Just the sound of the latch clicking open. The air grew colder. The refrigerator hum stopped, as if the power had cut again, but the lights were still on. That silence was worse than noise. It felt intentional. I grabbed the fireplace poker, my hands shaking. If someone was in the basement, I'd hear them. I'd be ready. I opened the door and called down. I already called the cops. No movement. No footsteps, just a long, damp smell rising up like soil after rain. Then something moved in the dark. Not footsteps this time, breathing. Slow, uneven, just at the bottom of the stairs. The dog barked and lunged forward. His nails skidded on the floor as he disappeared into the dark below. I shouted his name. Silence. Then a yelp, sharp, cut off too soon. I slammed the door shut and held it with my shoulder. Something pressed back once, heavy enough to rattle the frame. I screamed, and then nothing. The parents pulled into the driveway 15 minutes later. Their headlights flashed across the windows. I ran out to meet them, sobbing, trying to explain what happened. The father opened the basement door. The dog was gone. Only muddy footprints trailed across the concrete. Human-sized, bare, and leading toward the window at the back. But here's the thing. That window hadn't opened in years. It was nailed shut from the outside. The police found no signs of entry. No prints beyond those smears of mud. They told me I was lucky. That whoever it was probably ran when he heard the car. But when I left, Mrs. Miller stopped me. Her face was pale, voice trembling. "You locked all the windows, right?" I nodded. She hesitated. "Even the one upstairs in the kids' room." I blinked. "What window?" She looked toward the ceiling, then whispered, "The one that doesn't open." That night, I went home, sat in my room until dawn, and told myself it was just some stranger, just a man. But deep down, I knew there hadn't been any footprints leading away from the house, only toward it. Story 3, The Elevator Girl. I used to work the night shift at a downtown hotel, a mid-range place with long, silent corridors and lights that hummed just above the threshold of hearing. It wasn't a bad job. Boring, sure, but quiet. Most nights I spent behind the front desk, half watching the security feeds while pretending to do paperwork. On that night, everything felt off. It was storming hard outside, thunder that made the lobby windows tremble. The night guard had called in sick, and I was alone for the first time in weeks. Around 1:40 a.m., the elevator bell rang. Ding. That caught my attention because the cameras showed no one there. All guests were checked in. No room service scheduled. I glanced at the monitor again. The elevator door on the 6th floor was open, but no one was inside. The doors slid shut, and then the light flickered across the panels. The elevator was moving down. But on the camera feed, the buttons weren't lighting up in sequence. It was jumping floors. 6427. I grabbed the radio, called maintenance. No answer. The storm must have cut reception again. Then the elevator bell chimed again. This time right behind me. The doors opened. Inside was a girl. She looked around 10, maybe 11. Her hair was soaked, clinging to her face. Her yellow dress was muddy, torn near the hem. She wasn't crying, just staring at me with those wide, unblinking eyes. I said softly, "Hey, are you lost?" She didn't answer, just tilted her head like she was trying to listen through the walls. Something about her skin, pale, almost gray, made me take a step back. She didn't look hurt, but she didn't look alive either. The lights in the lobby flickered. When they came back, she was gone. The elevator doors were still open, empty. I ran to the panel and checked the security feed again. There she was, standing in the elevator, looking straight up at the camera. And then the screen went black. The manager didn't believe me. He came down, grumbling about ghost stories and fried circuits. But when he tried to pull the feed, the timestamp was missing. The recording had skipped 5 full minutes right when I'd seen her. He shrugged it off, went back upstairs. I stayed shaken, trying to distract myself by organizing the keys. At 2:07 a.m., the elevator bell rang again. The doors opened empty, but the light inside flickered, and I swear, just before it steadied, I saw a handprint appear on the mirror. Small, wet. The air felt colder. My breath started to fog. Then I heard her voice, soft, flat, from behind me. He never took me home. I turned so fast, I nearly slipped. No one there. The elevator doors were closing, but I caught a glimpse of something, a faint reflection. Her reflection, standing where I should have been. I lunged forward and hit the button. The doors opened, empty again. I told myself I was done. I couldn't finish the shift. I called the manager's phone. No answer. I decided to leave just for a minute to breathe. I got in the elevator. The panel glowed softly, but none of the floor numbers worked. Then the doors closed by themselves. The elevator began to move up, then down, then up again. The lights flickered in rhythm with the sound of dripping water. I pressed every button. Nothing responded. The elevator stopped. The display read B, basement. The doors slid open onto total darkness. A smell hit me, damp concrete, and something metallic underneath. And standing just at the edge of the light was the girl. Her head tilted, eyes bright as glass. He said he'd take me home. Her voice echoed strangely, not from her lips, but from the walls, the vents, the elevator speakers. Then she stepped forward, one slow foot at a time, water dripping from her hair. I backed into the corner, slamming the closed door button. The panels slid shut just before she reached the threshold. The elevator jolted upward, too fast, too violent. My ears rang. When it stopped, the doors opened to the lobby again. The lights were back to normal. The lobby was empty. The clock on the wall said 3:12 a.m. I quit that job the next morning. 2 weeks later, a technician found something while checking the building's old blueprints. The B level wasn't supposed to exist. The hotel had no basement. It had been sealed off years ago after a flood. A child had drowned there during construction. They said her body was never found. Sometimes, when I walk by that building, I hear the faint chime of the elevator, one soft ding, even when the power's off. Every story you've just heard was told by someone who swears it's true. Maybe they're lying. Maybe they're not. But if you've ever been alone at night and heard a sound that didn't belong, a whisper under the door, footsteps in the dark, a soft knock at the window, then you already know. Some things don't stop when the lights go out.